Hi, everyone. I'm Rachel Chamness at Soundwaves Heal. Today in my podcast, I want to talk about family. This is a holiday edition. And I just want to say, have you ever felt like going home to family or to old friends that you are suddenly yourself 10, 20, 30 years ago, that it just feels so difficult, or people expect you to be a certain way that you almost feel that way again, and why it can be so uncomfortable? Why is going back home to family so difficult? So let's talk about that today and how you can mitigate that, how you can change that so you can have a better holiday this week or for any holiday coming up. As I'd love to help you with this situation and explain it a little bit so you understand how it works. Welcome to 5D Channels and Chats with Rachel Chamness. As a shamanic channel and mentor, I'll be sharing wisdom and healing from higher dimensions through channeling beings of light. You will also hear liquid Reiki shamanic sound healing, channels between intuitives, and discussion on higher dimensional healing and channeling. You'll find links and more in the show notes, so be sure to check them. You can find me at soundwavesheal.com and my Facebook group, 5D Daily Spiritual Healers in Higher Dimensions. So bear with me a minute. The first thing I need to do is explain to you hexes, curses, spells, and jinx. Now, I'm not trying to say that your family's putting a curse on you. But if you understand these things, then it's easy to understand what I'm going to talk about, how we hold people in a pattern. So let's talk about this first. So hexes, spells, curses, jinx, these are all things that people do intentionally or unintentionally, which we'll talk about. And let's start with spells. So spelling, spells, this is something you might do with intentional words. The law of attraction and testimonials is like the good side of a spell. If you're trying to improve your life, change a habit, then you might use words, since words are so powerful. And if you know anything about the law of attraction, you know how powerful it is. Everything you say is your reality, even if you just say it once. But if you say it more than once, then that becomes a spell because you are saying it so many times, those words are becoming your reality. So make sure you know what you're saying, that you hear what you're saying, because you are making your reality. And of course, I know most of you know this about law of attraction, but that's really what spells are. And of course, they can be very negative. People could put a spell on you by using words that are negative and trying to put that on you intentionally. You can also create spells with things like new moon manifestation, which is something that I never do. I don't work with the moon. And if you want to hear about that, I do have a YouTube video with Steve Nobel where we talk about the moon matrix, and it will be playing in this podcast as well next month. And all that's about is that I don't want to work with any kind of place that has a lot of negative systems attached to it. And even though we have beautiful histories of past lives working with beautiful moons that contain deities and helpers of the spiritual realm who helped us so much, and we have that in our DNA and our memories, even if we don't realize it. And so, of course, we want to connect to this moon. However, this moon is just a satellite and it doesn't contain any high vibrational being to keep it in a high vibrational state, and instead is full of negative beings. And so I feel that that's not a great idea. I like to work with the sun. And if you want to hear more about that, you'll hear it in the podcast with Steve Nobel. But moving on, these are also other ways that you can do spells. Now that you understand spells, let's talk about hexes, curses, and jinx. So a jinx is a temporary sort of spell put on someone to cause misfortune. It's usually to teach them a lesson. And yes, you can do this unintentionally. If you said something like, I hope that person learns their lesson, or karma come up for them, or something like that, then you're unintentionally jinxing someone. Now, if you think about karma and people who have done bad things, and everyone's kind of saying that, think about the lesson they are learning is going to be hard. And that's probably just something that they created for themselves. And I'm not feeling sorry for them, but jinxes in general, you could accidentally put into motion anytime. Now, a hex is when you do the same thing, but it's a little more powerful. You are causing misfortune on someone because either intentionally because you're trying to hurt them, which is not for the highest and greatest good of all. And I definitely don't recommend any of this. This is all working with dark magic, and I don't recommend it at all. But if you were to curse someone and think bad things about them because they hurt you, you could unintentionally make a hex for someone. And if you're a Reiki master or you work with a lot of channeling, you could actually be channeling something dark for them. And you don't want to do this. When it comes to karma, actually, what I believe is just in the law of attraction. I believe that we are in this life to get off the karmic wheel. So I'm not really big on like karma of past lives. Like this life already negates the karma of past lives. Every life that you have brought that karma into it and you have negated it. So there's no reason to go back into past lives and relive all that karma. That's a trick of the dark that I see can really pull people apart. And I definitely don't recommend it. The only karma you need to worry about is your law of attraction. Whatever you're putting out into the world is coming back to you. And that is just a 3D concept that you're living with right now. So if you are a powerful person and you curse somebody with a hex unintentionally, you have put something dark out there. And now, guess what? Dark comes back to you. So, yes, there is something you can do about this. If you have accidentally hexed someone, which I bet you have, we have all done it. And the way to undo it is to say this sentence, which I teach all of my students to say, and I try to say it every single day or any time where I might have been mad at someone and said a few things that I regret, even just to myself or to the cosmos. I intend to create nothing negative for anyone or anything, including myself. This is such a powerful statement. I'm not going to take credit for it. I learned it from David Arms from thatenergyguy.com, who is a friend and mentor. And this is a beautiful intention. He has many, many great intentions. And this is my favorite one. I say it all the time, and I really recommend that you say it too. So back to hexes. Hexes can cause misfortune to a person until it is released. So until that spell is released from the person. Curses can actually be generational. So if someone curses you, it could be now in your generation. And we all have curses in our generational or ancestral line that we have to clear. And I'm sure that you already know this, that we're here to clear up our ancestral lines, to clear up our family lines if you're a light worker, because that's where we're going with Ascension, is to release all of this negative 3D and 4D interference and rise above it. So we are releasing that for everyone. How do you deal with curses, hex, and spells? What can we do about it? Well, any Reiki practitioner or practitioner of the light or light worker who is trained knows how to clear these. It's not very difficult. Anyone who's telling you it's going to cost you $500 or something like that is probably a scam artist. It only takes a few minutes if you know how to do it, and they're not as powerful as you think. I do teach how to do this in my Psychic Reiki Healing course, level 2, practitioner level, and they are easy to release, but there is something that you should know. So let's say you have one that you feel like is really affecting you. You can rise above it and raise your vibration so that it does not affect you. And how do you do that? Well, you need to release the drama of it, probably need to do some forgiveness. If you can't forgive the person, then you need to forgive yourself for dealing with the person or being fooled by the person or whatever feelings you have there. And you're going to need to work on your emotions around this, do some shadow work. That's really important. And once you do that, it should not be able to affect you, but it will still be kind of hanging out there. So the problem with these things is that they do kind of hang out outside your auric field, just waiting for you to lower your vibration to get in. And let's face it, we're human, so it can happen. If you are a Reiki practitioner or a light worker, shamanic worker who knows how to release these things, then you should be working on releasing them for yourself anytime. You should have some sort of system where you're looking for them to release them for yourself pretty often, just to be sure that there's nothing that is coming up. And as you release your own shadow work, as you work on yourself, either if you're working personally on yourself, which you should be, but also having sessions with other light workers, which I also recommend that we help each other, then you may find more ancestral curses or more things to deal with that you may say, hey, where did that come from? I already cleared that. Well, sometimes when you clear a whole layer, then another layer comes up. So don't be worried about that. If you see that or if you feel that you're getting deeper, That's what's happening. You're getting deeper in that healing for yourself. So that is how you deal with them. Release them yourself, become a Reiki practitioner, become empowered with your own channeling ability is what I really recommend. Reiki and similar modalities is really a must for these ascension times. It's not about always having someone on container to clear you and help you in all ways, but for you to learn how to help yourself, to empower yourself. This is not a time to have a guru. That's disempowerment. This is time to empower yourself. Empower yourself with understanding how to work with the systems that are out there that I'm bombarding you every day to keep your vibration high, to heal yourself. Reiki 1 is a great way for deep self-healing and absolutely a must for anyone here on this planet. Even if you have no intention of helping others or being a light worker, you still need that Reiki 1 for yourself is what I really, really recommend, really stepping into your power. So let's get back to family. Now that you understand hexes, spells, jinx, and curse, now I want to talk to being held to a pattern. So in the same way that you can use the law of attraction in this sort of spell way, which creates your reality, things that you're saying like nothing's coming in, nothing's good is happening, it's not working, things like that, where you feel like you're saying the reality of what's happening, those are really powerful statements and are really hard to negate. So if you're talking about trying to do something and it's not working out and you're talking about how it's not working out, well, you might as well not wait to find out what's going to happen because you have already sealed the coffin on that. You need to really watch what you say if you're trying to do something. Things haven't been showing to me yet, but I know it's going to go well. And someone's asking you a question that you don't want to say a negative answer to. Really watch your words. Now, in the same way, your family or the family you grew up with may not have these sort of insights into the world like you do. And so they might hold you to an old pattern. They might have these thoughts about you that are really old about the way you used to be. And you've changed, right? You've worked through your shadow work. You're a different person now. I mean, I'm a totally different person than I was 10 years ago, completely. I'm sure that people that knew me 10 years ago, 15 years ago, probably think, what in the world is Rachel doing as a spiritual counselor? But I'm not the same. And you probably aren't either. If you think about it, your family probably isn't either. Where are you holding others to a pattern? So this is part of it. How can you not hold your family to the pattern? Because you're part of this. You're holding them to a pattern. They're holding you to a pattern. And in that sort of spell of words, you guys are caught in it. And then when you go home, it's like you feel trapped, like almost you can't control yourself. You're feeling all these old feelings. Everyone's thinking these feelings towards you, and it has an effect. Have you ever done this energy exercise where you have a room full of people and you take one person and everyone in the room thinks beautiful thoughts about that person, okay? And that person, while everyone's thinking all these beautiful thoughts about them, tries to have a negative thought. It's not possible. It's not possible to have that negative thought, is it? Because when everyone is thinking beautiful thoughts about you, all of that energy is coming to you and you can't think of anything negative. It is the most enlightening exercise I absolutely recommend at your next book club or anything else that you're doing, your next spirit circle, your next get together with your friends, that you try this because you'll be amazed. Now, of course, the opposite is also true. When everyone is thinking a negative thought about you, you cannot think a positive thought. And so, where are you holding others to that pattern? Where are they holding you to that pattern? And of course, this is probably subconscious. I'm not trying to paint a picture that everyone's family or get together with old friends is full of like horrible people. Just somewhere they may all have a similar thought, even unconsciously about you, that makes you feel like you're caught in that pattern. So, what can you do about it? Because obviously, if this is all happening, I want you to have some empowerment to come out of it. How can you keep your vibration high as you go to see your family or old friends? Because once you start going there, you may start to feel those feelings that might make you feel anxious, and you might start feeling like that again. So what can you do before you go meet your family or see your old friends that can help you rise above these old patterns? Well, one thing you can do is really watch your own energy. Make sure that you're really feeling high vibrational, that you're really clear. Your chakras are clear, you're aligned, you're deeply grounded into new earth, you're connected to your higher self. If things that I'm saying here make no sense to you, then I really recommend that you take a Reiki 1 class or start taking spiritual classes to learn how to do some daily clearing and really empower yourself with that. So make sure that you're feeling good, you're clear, or you've had a clearing, or you spend some time doing a meditation that's very grounding and clearing, that you feel good before you even go, that you do this work not an hour before you leave, but the week before you leave, the night before, and use visualization. Visualization is so powerful. And what makes visualization powerful is the feeling. So the night before you go to sleep, I want you to visualize you're meeting with your family, you're meeting with your old friends, and everyone is feeling so good. Maybe people are saying, wow, I really see the change in you. Isn't it beautiful? If you are feeling like they don't see the change in you, maybe you're feeling like, wow, you see the change in others. So it's reciprocal. It's not just about you, but where you're doing it to others. You need to release that as well. So, wow, I haven't seen my old friends in this new light, or I haven't seen my brothers and sisters in this new light, and really use that for them, give them that grace, and they're giving it to you. So really feel how that works. And I believe that you will really create that for yourself when you are going on the next day. So visualization is one of the most important things that you can do. Another thing you can do is switch words. Switch words are affirmations that bypass the thinking brain. So the words themselves just carry a strong positive charge, and you can use them without thinking too much about what they mean. And they really work a lot better than affirmations. So I really love them. Here's a really good one that you can say on the way to seeing your family or your old friends. Together, divine harmony. Together is a really powerful switch word, the most powerful one to bring people together. And this phrase, together, divine harmony, helps unite a group of people or a family, and just helps to unite and feel good harmony. So it's a really good switch word to say. You could even add some music to it. You could sing it in a certain way, just to repeat it, and it will really help you. And here's another way to really, really help the situation, especially if you have one person in particular that's worrying you. You can speak through the airwaves with Archangel Gabriel. Now, I have a whole blog post and video on this in my blog at soundwavesheal.com that you can find easily if you search the word Gabriel on the blog page. But this is a beautiful technique that has helped me in so many ways. There are many, many ways to use it. I'm going to give you just this one way that will help you this week or during this holiday season. And if you want to learn more, you can go to my blog page. So Archangel Gabriel helps with communication and relationships. What you do is very simple. This does not have to be out loud unless you feel like really expressing yourself and getting it out and just like releasing. You can do it out loud. Words are powerful and sound is powerful, so out loud's great, but you can also do it inside your mind. What you do is you set it up. Dear Archangel Gabriel, please take this message, clean it up, and send it to so-and-so. And then you say anything you want. So the whole point is that Gabriel's going to clean it up. So you could cuss out your grandmother. I mean, you could say anything you want. But the truth is, you really need to say what you're feeling, how it makes you feel. You need to be really explicit about what it is that's bothering you and how you wish they understood what you are trying to say. This is really great for when people just really aren't hearing you in any way. And so you can just say it through Gabriel. And when you're done, even if you cuss them, even if you said it rudely, you'll say, thank you so much, Gabriel. Please send this to so-and-so and clean it up. Very important. Clean it up. And then they will receive that message. And you only have to do that once. And what will happen is amazing. Either they will just be totally different, or they may say something to you. They may apologize. They may say something to you, and then you understand the situation better, because even if you're totally wrong, Gabriel will help you see what's happening. So you could be totally wrong. It could be all you. And if you did this exercise, suddenly you would understand and you would have a conversation to clear it up, and you'll feel amazing. It is a very powerful technique, so I hope you'll use it. So thank you so much for coming today. I hope that all of these techniques helped you. I hope that you really were able to understand how this works, how you can hold people in a pattern, how people can hold you in a pattern, what to do about it. And I really would love to hear what you think about this. Have you ever felt this way? Have you ever tried these techniques? Have you tried them this week and they really helped? Let's talk about it. We'll be talking about this in my Facebook group, 5D Daily, Spiritual Healers in Higher Dimensions. I'd love to hear what you'd have to say. And if you're not a healer yet, or you're not ready for this group, you can always send me a direct message on Facebook or Instagram or through my website, Soundwaves Heal, and I'd love to hear. Thank you so much. And if you're in America, I hope you have a beautiful holiday. Bye. Thank you for joining me for today's episode. If you are a healer or spiritual entrepreneur, present or future, I'd like to invite you to my Facebook group, 5D Daily, Spiritual Healers in Higher Dimensions, where I'll be live for more discussion and questions on Thursdays. I'll put the link in the show notes. I'm Rachel Chamness at Soundwaves Heal.